Alright guys, it's time. I know I said I was going to put this video up last night, but I was filming it and got almost all the way through, and then my camera died, and I realized that I forgot my phone charger at my parents' house, or my camera charger in my workshop at my parents' house. So doing this on my phone, we'll see if it works. But this is going to be showing what is for sale. These aren't completely spotlessly finished. I've been handling them without gloves, so there's a few little, dark spots that need to be cleaned up because they are carbon steel. Fingerprints and stuff, you can really see those on there, but they'll be cleaned up before they get sent out. Obviously, they need sheaths still. But I want you to let me know whether you want Kydex or leather, because I'm going to have a friend of mine do some leather sheaths, and we'll see how that works out, see if he's good or not. I've never seen any of his work, but seems like a cool dude, smart dude, so we'll see how that turns out. If it turns out crappy, I can always just do a Kydex. But I'm going to show, first off, this is my first knife sale. This is my first batch of knives, so they're not perfect, and I'm trying to take pricing into account, but at the same time I have to, get enough to be able to do my next run, which is going to be a bunch of the seeds, these small little fixed blades. So I'm going to start out, show you the seed number 1. This one is not currently for sale unless you want to make me an offer on it. This is my prototype for the seed. You guys have seen it, but this is all of these 5 knives upcoming are all 3/16 inch 1095. This one I hardened or heat treated in my backyard. Should be around 60 Rockwell. Not positive. This is the first knife I ever heat treated. Haven't had it hardness tested, but it holds an edge well. Mic heart on one side, stag and copper liners on the other, brass pins, and the coating from the heat treat, the fire scale, is still left on there, and it's got a little bit of a mustard patina on the very edge. Chisel convex. But that's a nice little Kydex sheath that goes with it. This is what the sort of Kydex sheath I would do probably. I could do 2 holes if you want to carry as a neck knife, but I think as a little pocket fixed blade, or with a loop of paracord or something on the belt, this would be very nice. Just a little fold over sheath. But I want you to have input on that if you're the one buying it and whatnot. But this is number 1. And so number 2 is, one person already expressed interest in this knife, so I'm going to give her first crack at it, yeah, but it's got a very similar blade shape, a little bit of a swoop back, so the whole thing is pretty much belly, and this thing slices real nice. Like I said, these are all 3/16 inch 1095. These next 4 are hardened by Peter's heat treat to 60-61 Rockwell. Here's one of the little fit and finish issues. I gotta clean up the spine of this. But as you can see, they're quite thick, but they have a relatively thin point on them, most of them. How I'm denoting what number they are is by these little notches here on the ricasso. So you can see this is number 2. I didn't put a notch on number 1 yet. I might do that. But on this side, it's got an aluminum handle, aluminium, that's like faceted and satin finished. Doesn't really provide much grip, but the other side makes up for it with a blue G10 with an Anzo pattern. Let's see if this helps it at all. Yeah, that light makes it pretty nice. Chisel ground, got the fire scale on there. I hope the music hasn't been too loud, but Pretty nice grip on this one. Feels good. All of these have a little tiny bevel on the back side. One, to give the edge strength, and two, because it makes it easier to resharpen, so you don't have to dick around with the whole bevel, sharpening the whole bevel. You just touch the back on a sharp maker or something, and it'll sharpen it up for you real quick. All nice and flush around there. The aluminum scales don't go all the way to the edge, just because of the piece of aluminum I had at the time. But there's a couple little scratches, stuff. I'm going to try to show you guys exactly what you're getting, so you're not surprised by anything. And you know, I don't want to have any issues arise with anybody. But these are all pretty damn sharp. Some sharper than others. A couple need to be touched up in a few places, but I'm not going to bore you with a bunch of paper cutting. But yeah, so that's this one. I'll let you guys know pricing after I've shown you all these. Next, number 3 is another one of these, like, I don't know, Tonto kind of tips, I guess you could call it. More like a traditional Tonto. You can see on this one I buffed off the very edge. My sharpening method, I kind of just do that. It just has to happen. But I think it looks pretty sweet. This one has a really long swedge on the back. And my favorite part is this line right here where they intersect. It just looks really wicked. So when I round it off, the little hump here, so it's, you can't really feel it on the other ones, but I don't know. I just decided to try it. Let me know what you guys think about, you know, whichever one you think looks better. But I like them both, so I'm probably just gonna play around with it. It's got buffalo horn and Osage orange on one side with a green liner, and blue G10 with grooves, kind of fading into a rock type pattern. It's really smoothly rounded and polished around the outside. And this side is just super smooth. The epitome of smoothness. We got baby's butt cheek. But I really like how this one turned out. It's not sharpened on the back at all. A couple scratches around the ricasso area when I was still figuring out how to clean up epoxy after gluing. A couple little scratches in there. I'm gonna clean up as much of this as I can before it gets sent out. But I mean, this is the state they're in right now. But they will be cleaned up before they get sent out. Now I'm gonna skip one. This is number 5. This one you guys have seen a bit before. It's got a full convex with a swedge on there, not sharpened at all. This one is razor sharp. It's a really nice slicer, super thin edge on there. This is probably has the best cutting geometry of all the seeds, just because the grind is super thin. I mean, basically as thin as you can get it on a 3/16 inch knife that's only, you know, 3/4 of an inch wide. This one's got buffalo horn on one side and blue G10 on the other. That's just kind of carved and fits your fingers perfectly in there when you get a really good grip on this guy. The handle finish on this one I'm really happy with. Turned out nicely. I keep getting fingerprints on these. Before I send them out, they'll be handled with rubber gloves and stuff, because I don't know, kind of ridiculous. I got to touch up the grind a little bit on this one. Just got to touch it to a 320 belt. There's a little spot right in there. But I'm happy with this one. I like it a lot. Alrighty, that's down there. And then next is one that you guys have not seen. This one I'm very happy with. I think it's my favorite of the bunch. Most definitely my favorite of the bunch. It started out as a Warncliffe with a perfectly straight edge. And while I was sharpening it, a little spot here got sharpened too quick, so it started to dip in a little bit, and then I was just like, you know, screw it, it's going to be a little slight hawkbill. So it's just got a really gentle curve to the whole edge, and as you can see, this part is buffed off as well, and that makes it double-edged. And this back swedge is just as sharp as the edge. I did it at about the same angle, probably a little bit steeper, but this is just a wicked ass knife. You can see the 4 notches. This is number 4. And I'm not going to be able to do it since I'm on camera, but the back swedge, oh, there we go. The back swedge is super sharp. Now I shouldn't be cutting towards my hands, but it's kind of super awkward to cut like that. But the back edge is just as sharp as the front one. I don't know. I'm just super happy with how this one turned out. It's the first double-edged knife I've ever done, and I think it'd be a really wicked little self-defense piece. Concealed carry. This side has a really nice piece of stag on here. Got some really beautiful color on it. And I used copper Corby bolts to attach this together. It's all epoxied under both the scales too, and the Corby bolts are epoxied in there, and then you just grind them off. With this nice polished stag, and then a nice piece of smooth polished G10. Like I said, this one's probably my favorite. I really like how it turned out. The handle especially. Just really nice, clean fit and finish on there. There's a really depressing thing about this knife, though, that I didn't realize until last night, and that is the blade is warped. Just came back like that from heat treat, I guess. I could try to correct it. I've seen a couple jigs where people try to bend it back, but I don't know if I want to do that and risk breaking it. But you can see there, it's just ever so slightly curved, and it's not really going to affect the use of the knife, but it's just really frustrating. A learning experience, though. I need to leave my blades a little bit thicker when I send them to heat treat. But I think this guy turned out super good. And again, if you feel these prices are high, make me an offer, and I'll, think about it. All of these I would like to get 100 for, but if you think that's too high and you're like, oh, I'm not going to pay that for those scratches on there and whatnot, which is totally fair. I wouldn't buy one of these if it was all scratched up for full price without asking first. But just make me an offer, and we'll work stuff out. I need to sell 4 of these to, well, basically these 4 knives to be able to do, these 4 right here to be able to do my next run of seeds. There's going to be like 25 more of these coming up at some point soon. I'm going to get them all water jet cut. I know I keep saying that, but this is going to provide the money for it, hopefully. So yeah, your pick. Let me know by number. Again, this is 2. I'll put them in order. This is 2, 3, 4, and 5. And number 2, I'm gonna email the person. They want it. They were interested in it before, so they get first crack at it. They asked me a while ago, so it's only fair. Again, $100 each. If you really want to try to buy my prototype, make me an offer and I'll think about it. But I kind of just want to keep this one for myself, just to have, because it's the first, and there's going to be a bunch of them for you guys to get. So unless you really have a hankering, I may sell it down the line sometime. We'll see. I don't know. But there's the seeds. Just shoot me an email if you are interested at Hippiewithknives, not a Hippiewithknives, just Hippiewithknives@gmail.com. I would prefer email rather than Facebook private message, or not Facebook, YouTube, just because email's, you know, more reliable. I can save them better. And yeah, so yeah, shoot me an email. I'll put all this in the description along with the prices for everything. And yeah, so next is one of these large fixed blades. You guys have seen this one before. This is I don't have a name for this one. It's let's see, I can pull up what the number of it is. I have a numbering system for what every knife is. I believe this is the 27. No. It's going to take me a second to find it. I'll put it in the description. That's the 24. So this is the 4-24 is what this one's called. It's a class 4 knife because of the blade, or the overall length, and 24, it's the 24th design in class 4, so that's just what it's called. It's a 4_0024, and this is the first one of them that I ever did. I have 3 of these. 2 of them are for sale now, the other one needs to be finished. It'll be in another video later. It's got an Osage orange handle, or Osage, I don't exactly know how to say it, and it's been antiqued. Looks really nice. It'll polish up a little bit more as you handle it and use it, which I hope you guys will use these. But nice Kydex sheath, aluminum binding screws, and some leather cordage holding it together. You can use these screws to attach something if you would like, or just remove them for attachment of a tech lock. They're sandblasted just to keep them a little bit more dull, and got a nice click in the sheath, not going anywhere unless you want it to. Not the most perfect sheath I've done, but and this is another one of the blades that needs to be refinished. I got some scratches on it from the sheath making process. Still gotta completely figure out how to make sheaths without scratching knives. I know it's just little pieces of grit that get stuck in there, but I can't possibly have cleaned it out more. I mean, I filled it up sprayed it with WD-40 a whole bunch, washed it out with soap and water, sprayed it with WD-40 again, took an air compressor and blew it all out, and then still got a scratch on there, which is kind of frustrating, but I'll clean it up before it gets sent out. And there's a little dark spot right here, but that'll be cleaned up. Full convex on this knife, and it's a full convex chisel. This is 1/8 inch 01 steel, 01 tool steel, hardened by Peter's heat treat to 6061 RC, and it's got that nice chisel grind on there. And I left the heat treat stuff on the one side. Pretty cool looking, I think. Got some cool patterns in this one. Overall, a pretty sweet package, I think. But yeah. So this one I'm asking $150 for. That's what I would like to get for it. Stainless pins. See, the handle gets fatter towards the bottom. I really like this design. I've been stealing this handle design for a lot of other designs that I've been doing recently. But yep. So $150 for that one. That's what I would like to get. You know, obviously, you can't expect everybody to want to pay that much on my first knife sale. But so this next one is another of the 24s, and this one needs clean up at the tip, but it's a full convex. And on the other side, a full convex as well. This one is double ground, super thin grind on here. This thing is razor sharp. It's got a really long swedge on there. I think makes it looks kind of like an onslaught, a Benchmade onslaught. I didn't realize that. With the swedge on it, at least, it looks like an onslaught. Little story with this handle. So I had drilled 3 holes in it, planning on bringing the handle all the way up to where it is on the other one. But the piece of handle material only went maybe a 1/16 of an inch above that hole. So I just decided to lob it off there. It makes the blade look absolutely giant, since the handle material doesn't go all the way up there. But I had this extra hole, so I just blatantly copied Tough Thumbs and press fit a mosaic pin in there. It kind of mushed it around a little bit, but it still looks pretty sweet, I think. It's like not perfectly square in there anymore, but I really like how it turned out. And the hole was already countersunk, so that kind of put a little issue with it, but just there's a little gap around it, but it's solidly in there. It's flush. And but this handle material, I think it's some Natural G10. I'm not positive at all what it is. It works like G10. It smells like G10 when you cut it. But it's kind of like a natural seafoam green color. Oh, sorry, I got a text. Guys. Sorry about that. It's got sandblasted. The G10 has been sandblasted. It's got a really nice grip to it, and therefore the pin's already also sandblasted. And this material has a really cool pattern on the sides of it. It's like little zigzags. You kind of have to see it in person, but it's really cool. Little spot there needs to get cleaned up, and a little bit on the spine. But you can see this one's got a really tiny little tip on it. But again, really awesome grip. I'm thinking a leather sheath for this one. I could do Kydex. I was thinking leather just because I don't have a ton to anchor the Kydex onto. It should work with this, but I usually like having a fatter bit to anchor it onto. But it'll work if you really want Kydex. I can do that. It is kind of a tactical knife, so I feel like that would be good on there. But really digging this design. One of my favorite designs that I've done. Let's see, one more knife for sale. I would like to get $150 for this one as well. Just both of these are $150. Again, make me an offer if you think that's too high. This next one you've seen is the Helle blade that I got a while ago and fitted a handle on. So it's they say it is laminated high carbon steel, but I don't see a lamination line, so it's kind of confusing. But as you can see the logo there, it's a Helle blade. It's the tollekniv. So if you want to look it up, I'll put it in the description. Comes with a forge finish on it and a really nice edge on it. It's a Scandi ground. I could, if you want, I could reprofile it into a convex. I could bring the grind up more and thin it out a lot if you want more of a slicer. But as a Scandi grind, it's pretty well done and good and sharp. I haven't had any experience grinding Scandi grinds, so I can't really sharpen it without making it convex. It's never been used, but I could do that if you want. Sandblasted brass guard with some carving on the side there, and the handle is red and black G10. And since it's a hidden tang knife, instead of milling out the G10, which I had no experience with at the time, I used 2 pieces of Kydex as spacers and filled it all in, epoxied the whole thing together, and it's actually got a quite nice grip. I sandblasted it, so the G10's pretty grippy, and it's got a nice little handle on it. It's pretty slim, pretty thin, not the most, hand filling for bushcraft or whatever you want to do, but as a little concealed carry knife or collectible, I think it's kind of cool. The red and black G10 is super dark and really subtle. I really like it. But I was thinking 125 for this guy. It's got a nice Kydex sheath with it. Good fit in there. It's got this little tab that holds it in. You just pop that off and it comes out like nothing. Not going anywhere though. And it's got these 2 belt loops. If you want to carry it outside your waistband, you have them like this. If you want it inside your waistband, you flip them over and attach them to this hole, and then you can stick it inside your waistband, have your pants go up inside there, and the belt go through there. But it's going to come with these 2 loops. Got a little rubber washer in there, so you can crank it down, and it'll still be able to move a little bit, so you can affix it to the belt correctly and stuff. Also, I can make these little Kydex loops for any of the sheaths on any of these knives. If you want Kydex sheath, I can make little Kydex loops to go with it. So you can attach it that way, or you can just get your own tech lock or something. Probably in the future I'll get small tech locks to go with the seeds, but we'll see. So yeah, 125 for this guy. If you want it and you want it reprofiled, let me know. If you think that price is ridiculous and I'm dumb, then offer me less, and I will think about it. So yeah, there's that, and that's all. Not going to be actually taking payments until the sheaths are finished and the knives are completely cleaned up and you see what they look like when they're, in the condition where they're going to be sent out to you. I can send you pictures or put up another video or something, but since it's my first knife sale, I want to make sure that everything's perfect before it goes out and that there's no issues with anything, so so email me at hippiewithknives@gmail.com if you want one of these. And I will reserve it for you, and you can tell me what kind of sheath you want and stuff like that, but I'm not going to accept payment until the sheaths are finished, as per your specifications. So I can't really think of anything else. All these prices are shipped. Definitely not going to ask you to pay for shipping, but yeah, so that's pretty much all, I think. Peace, guys.